Time to listen to From the Dailies, the program where we get to take you through the front page stories of different newspapers. Thank God it's another beautiful Friday morning. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God for the breath of life. Thank God for counting you and I worthy to be among the living to see this day. Today is the 12th day in the month of September 2025. My name is Ade Damola Lafenwa, and I have comrade Ayodeji Ajishokbe live in the studio with me this beautiful Friday morning, looking casual. I was expecting the usual Malamayo Deji attire before.
I think it's a cool Friday, so
Okay.
let's make it casual.
Okay, all right. Looking good as usual. Okay, now looking at the papers this morning, just when we thought that the Nopenge Dangote refinery crisis had gone to has been laid to rest, but I thought they reached an agreement earlier this week when the Dangote refinery agreed to some of the demands by the Nopeng, which include the unionization of the workers within the refinery. But now.
Damola, when they came to that agreement, I said to myself, really? Just like
Because
that?
I mean, what first came to my mind when I read that to be one of the demands of Nopeng, I was like, unionism is meant to be voluntary. Something. It's either you want or you want it. You cannot be compelled to do that,
Damola,
to get involved in
it
any
is
union.
deemed to be voluntary.
Okay, now looking at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, it says fresh crisis hits Nupeng Dangote MOU, that's a memorandum of understanding signed earlier this week. Now, looking at the riders now, union accuses refinery of violating agreement. The second rider says union membership voluntary. Dangote refinery responding to that says we remain committed to FG's intervention. And the last rider says Nupeng operates collect dues within our facility. Even before now.
You see the way Dangote
Dangote
people are maneuvering.
Dangote is saying that before now, before this agitation is coming up, you've been operating and collecting dues within our refineries.
Yes, but it goes beyond that.
Okay, we'll talk about it in the course of the program. 2027 suspense as Jonathan Obi meets in Abuja. I saw the video yesterday and I saw the pictures too. I mean,
What did you say they were meeting for?
well, it was a closed door meeting.
Can
It
you
was a
imagine?
closed door meeting. We had the likes of Professor Jerry Ghana who had come out to say that though the party is actually truly the party PDP is actually wooing both of them. So I don't know. Maybe one of the
So-
meetings will be like, okay, bro, are you going in? Should I step down? Who's going first? Who is doing this? But the fact is there was a
Politicians
meeting.
are just politicians.
The fact is that Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, met with Peter Obi in Abuja yesterday, and the meeting was strictly done behind closed doors.
Great.
Now, still looking at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Ladoja blames supporters for Oni Alaafin supremacy feud. Tax Ibadan mortgagees on drug abuse. The story is found on page 17 of the Nigerian Tribune. One more story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. 2027 political parties may rise to 32 as INEC considers 14 registration. I mean, this is another major concern because every now and then when there is a build up to general election, you see the registration of many names, many parties, but at the end of the day you just see that most of them and I was in a particular discussion where somebody speculated that maybe those people are just coming to make money. These people that just come together because it was at that location I was made to understand that there's a particular amount of money that INEC gives to some of these parties, maybe to support them to do this. Because you see these names, long list of names, and when the election comes, you barely find or the relevance of some of them.
Well, it's that's how maybe sometimes that's how some people.
Maybe some people just want to cash out quick.
Nigeria is that's the way it works. That's the way
Okay.
it goes.
Okay. Imagine having 32 political parties.
But leaders are also raised.
Okay, moving away from that particular newspaper, looking at the Guardian newspaper now. Open defecation crisis worsens, threatens 2030 sanitation target. Another one.
Please pardon me.
Okay.
In the Tribune, there was a report by Nigeria Upstream Agency about. Okay.
Okay,
Crude oil
the
losses
crude oil losses dropped to
16-year
16-year low, NUPRC report.
That should be good news.
It's a
Some
good news, actually.
Yeah,
I'm still going to read it on another paper.
Okay.
Okay, now, still looking at the front page of the Guardian newspaper now. I have this one saying, INEC rejects 157 applications, clears ADA, 13 others for registration. Page 4 as that story. ADC split deepens as faction claims court bird Mark Aregbesola. I thought INEC recognized the leadership of David Mark earlier this week too.
Well, that is the interpretation of INEC of the current situation.
Okay.
If another situation confronts INEC, they know what to do. You know, they did what they had to do in the PDP matter too. You remember? INEC simply told us, go back and read the judgment of the Court of Appeal. INEC did not make pronouncement that this is it. And I said, go and read the judgment of the Court of Appeal. And they understood what it meant, and they adjusted accordingly.
Okay, now this next story talks about it's about health issue. Now, remember some years back when this Ebola ravaged some African countries, and there is a resurgence of Ebola virus in Democratic Republic of Congo, DR Congo now, and Lagos state government seems to be taking some proactive steps to curb the inflow of that virus again into the country. And looking at the headline here, Lagos activates Ebola response system as DR Congo battles outbreak.
You know, Lagos occupies a very, very unique place in Nigeria's, structure, and nothing, especially a health epidemic, nothing must disrupt life. Because if it disrupts lives, it disrupts business and it destroys.
And I think we've been able to learn from the last Ebola.
Oh, yeah. And that was a Herculean effort from
It
Lagos.
was. Moving to the Punch newspaper now, looking at the cap headlines. 2027, Jonathan Obi Old Closed Door Meeting, page 30 of the Punch newspaper. INEC shortlisted 14 new party applicants, disqualifies 157. The biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper, it says that Nupeng Dangote clash as tanker drivers deal collapses. Riders, Dangote Refinery says union membership not compulsory as Nupeng ponders fresh strike.
They said they were putting their people on red alert.
Red alert. Now, the second rider says marketers urge adherence to MOU. NLC warns refinery against agreement breach.
You see now, marketers, marketers, who are the ones? When we get it,
Well, it's looking more like a gang up against Dangote Refinery, but when we get there now.
Oh, yeah.
When we get there. Okay, now, court summons Mark others over ADC leadership tussle. 5.6 trillion naira debt. Energy crisis looms as gas firms halt supply. And the last one, supporters await Fubara's London return ahead of resumption. Okay, Baba went to London to freshen up in preparation for his resumption. 6-7 days from now, 5-6 days from now. Okay, today is 12. Okay, 6. That's 6 days from now.
Is in almost caucuses.
Okay.
On how to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good move. Moving to the Vanguard newspaper now. Let me quickly run through some of the headlines here. World Cup, this has to do with sports now. World Cup, ex-Eagles demand NFF board quits if Nigeria fails to qualify. And the riders' entire NFF board must go, says Mikel Obi. Olise blames Super Eagles' poor run on foreign coach.
They are turning out to be a powerful lobby.
Yeah.
The class of 1994.
Okay, the class of 1994. Okay, that's nice. ADC leadership battle to remove Mark Aregbesola continues Monday. 6 days to Fubara's return. Iba's legacies, others raise mixed expectations in Rivers. And okay, because of our time, let me take one more story. Dangote Nopeng Bika over alleged breach of pact reached at DSS headquarters. It's 9:45 of 939 Solutions FM. Let's go straight into the stories one after the other now. Now, Comrade Deja Jishokwe, let's start the conversation.
Yes.
Fresh crisis hits Nupeng Dangote MOU. Union accuses refinery of violating agreement. Union membership voluntary Dangote refinery. Now, it's been speculated and many quarters now, not just some quarters now, that there is all this seems to be a kind of a gang up against the progress of Dangote refinery.
What do you mean?
Who is against Dangote? Why do they keep bringing stumbling blocks or hurdles for this man?
It is an industry.
Okay.
It is an industry that is governed by a Petroleum Industry Act. And that is what the current administration decided that it should operate fully. See how NNPC lost out in the business. So their NNPC is reconfiguring how they're going to move. NNPC will end up in that same open market. So Dangote gets there. Orders clearly to Nigerians who are probably placed in his way. Even when the regulator said Dangote does not have a license, everybody said, what on earth?
There was a time they said that what he was producing was substandard.
You know? And everybody was wondering, what's happening here? And then finally the man surmounts the hurdle. You know, he gets crude oil locally, you know, through. But we know that that's no longer happening. And if they're getting it, they're probably getting it at the market price. But the man opened and said, look, if I had known it was going to be this hectic, I wouldn't have
ventured into it.
But now he's not a man that will venture into the deep waters and then look back. And look back.
He's forging ahead, determined.
So this is what he's just doing with the 10,000 trucks that he's importing. He said he's rolling out on Monday from the southwest, south, and Abuja. You understand? Maybe about, maybe about 2,000 trucks or thereabout. So he is delivering. What is he doing? He is producing. He is storing. And he is transporting. He is doing the entire gamut of downstream operations, mid and downstream operations. He's doing it. He's producing. He's storing. He's transporting.
And somehow he has been a blessing to Nigerians in one way or the other. Because ever since he started operations, we've been having slashing in the pump price of petrol. And recently now there's another news that said Dangote begins free fuel distribution Monday, slashes petrol to 841 naira per liter. Which is
retail.
From the retail spot.
Everybody that takes PMS from Dangote must dispense at 841 or
naira per liter. Which is a good news.
Which, as we speak, some sell 850, very few sell 850. Some
865. I bought one and 895 a few days ago somewhere.
So everything hovers around 860 or thereabout. So if it now comes down, that's 20 naira. I buy 50 liters of fuel a week. Just add all of these things up. Then your gen and all of these things, all of that. And then the volume of what people are buying will pick up.
Pick up, definitely.
When it picks up, industry supplies more. Retailers dispense more. Then liquidity and everything. And then if they are good, he has the capacity. He will give them, what do they call that thing? He will give them that you can take more trucks and just pay a little, all of that. He will make those facilities available there. Everybody's in business. But in the process, you are cutting out the depot. You call them DAPMAN. Depot and the Petroleum Products Marketers Association. They have huge investments. you know. Then at the tail end is the transporters. All of this, they are pointing at the tanker drivers, okay? But they're not. But what about the owners of the big tankers? You understand? And owners of the places where they get products from. So all of them, everybody is fighting for his own share of the market. They say, how can you take such a big chunk of it? But it's an open market.
Is that still pointing to the fact that some of the issues they raised against the Dangote refinery say in that he has this monopolistic tendency?
What is monopolistic? We are
a man is only trying to expand his business.
And I think Nigerians are thinking now that Dangote is actually a value addition. That is an open market. It's something we can see now. It is no longer opaque. Everybody can see. You buy 860, you buy 850, you buy 890. But now, the man is saying, I can make things a little easier. And the other people are, so why don't you step up your own game too? Step up your own game.
So now let's talk about this unionism issue now.
Well, yes.
Why is it a bone of contention now?
They say belonging to union is voluntary. I say it is deemed to be voluntary. I say that way, I qualify that way because at the end of the day, Nigerian Union of Teachers in Oyo State, it is taken for granted. So they remove check-off pay monthly from everybody. Have you ever seen any teacher go to the Ministry of Education or NUT and say, I don't want to be a member of the union? No, nobody does that. So if they say they will unionize everybody.
But Dangote said that no paying operates and collects dues within our facility.
That is not unionism. Within, that's like just collecting dues. And which tells you that the matter goes beyond tanker drivers. Because they have backing. We have had even Penkasen speak. We have even had NLC speak.
Okay. Now, is it possible for the workers of Dangote refinery to say, okay, we are staying with our boss. We don't want to be a member of the union.
They are acting it.
Don't they have the free will?
They are acting it.
So
the drama that ensued at the Dangote refinery yesterday was that Dan Tatas, their cousins to the Dangote. So they have their own oil arm too, MRS. So they said their drivers should remove their pink stickers and drive into Dangote refineries to load. And then the pink people blocked them.
That was what led to the barricade.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, the unions are flexing their muscle.
Now, with this flexing of muscles by Nupeng now, what will be the ripple effect on the other Nigerians or the remaining Nigerians now?
Damola, this is a global phenomenon. I remember Microsoft and all of those high-tech companies at a point in time, I think maybe shortly after COVID, they had to fire people and all of that. So, and they had to contend with the unions. You can't just use and dispense of, people and all of that. So they will always find a balance.
They will find a balance.
Oh, yes, they
hopefully
will.
Before Monday.
Hopefully.
They should do. Okay.
Yeah.
8953 on 939 Solutions FM, still on from the dailies, and moving to another story now. This is another trending story. Earlier this week, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan wrote a letter notifying the National Assembly, the Senate to be precise, that she will be resuming when after our suspension has lapsed, because she went on suspension, 6 month suspension on March 6th earlier this year, and by September 6th that has become 6 months. But the clerk of the National Assembly, the clerk of the Senate, wrote a letter in response to her saying that she is not expected, she is not qualified enough to resume. But this has raised many reactions from different angles. Lawyers have been speaking, political parties have been speaking, but some of the lawyers have some of their voices here to listen to on the program this morning. The first person, the first lawyer that will be speaking on that particular issue now is one of the counsels to the Senator Natasha, that is Barrister Ibrahim Wali. He spoke about the fact that keeping Natasha away from the Senate is denying the member of our constituents a representation for that long. They've been without a representation for the past 6 months, and now you are still planning to extend that. Let's take a listen at Ibrahim Wali.
I'll begin from your last statement that the constituents, that is the Kogi Central Senatorial Central District, are robbed off of representation. And in fact, if you look at all the actors and actions in this saga so far, what is clear is that the Constitution, being the supreme document in the land, as provided for obviously by Section 1 in the Constitution itself, has been so sidelined and in the interpretation of what position should prevail. The fact that a senatorial district is going to lose representation for that long is supposed to be the fundamental issue that all parties, including the National Assembly, the senator herself, ourselves, the public, and also the judiciary itself, to see that all decisions and all actions, and this is what the law provides for anyway, all decisions or all actions are subject to the Constitution. So it is the constitutional provision that should prevail, or the democratic provision that should prevail. If you look at Section 13 of the Constitution, it is clear that all institutions, the State House of Assembly, the National Assembly, the judiciary itself, the executive, are supposed to give life to the Constitution, are supposed to uphold the Constitution. So what is happening so far in terms of the lack of representation of the Kogi constituents is by far the most damning aspect of this case. Now, back to the more specific questions you asked. It is very important to contextualize the power of the clerk of the National Assembly, or rather the clerk of the Senate. If you look at the standing order of the Senate that was amended in 2023, it is clear that his role is limited to taking records, communicating orders, minutes, votes, and proceedings. So for the clerk to come out and claim that he was informed without any attachment of a vote or proceedings by either the Senate leadership or the Senate as a house is already legally defective. So the letter as it is unfortunately incomplete, because it does not communicate its authority, and the clerk does not have the authority to take that position. It is also interesting to note that the clerk is also a party in the case anyway. So there need to be a vote or proceedings, and this is what the court has held. It says that it is the minutes and the votes and the proceedings of the legislature that they are going to use in examining whether the exercise of their power has been in line with the Constitution. What people really miss is that the legislature, as an independent arm, has powers to make laws and also to oversee the judiciary and the executive. But in the exercise of that power, by Section 4, subsection 8, they are subject to the courts. So they don't have the parliamentary absolutism that the Senate has been parading all this while. Yes, it is an independent arm, but in the exercise of its power itself, it has to be within constitutional parameters. So even when it comes to their standing orders by Section 60, the Senate cannot go ahead and make a standing order that seeks to undermine the court or undermines the Constitution, as much as it has the power and the right to make its standing orders. Okay. So
that was the voice of Ibrahim Wali, one of the counsels to Natasha, speaking there, talking about depriving the member of Natasha's constituent representation at the Senate. Let's take a listen at another person, that is Mark Jacobs. He is a former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of Kaduna State, talking about the issue on ground. Let's take a listen.
Well, what I see is a further display of impunity gone too wild. Because if anybody cares to listen to the National Assembly, particularly the current Senate, they have always insisted that the courts or nobody at all should interfere with their exercise of constitutional powers to discipline their members. And they have always said that it is a constitutional donation that should not be taken away by the courts or by anybody. So, and looking at the history of that matter, when the matter went to court, The defense, if anybody has bothered to look at the processes, what the National Assembly was saying is that they exercise their powers under the Constitution and under their rules, and that the courts should not even interfere. What that certainly means is that they claim and they want to rely on the independence of the legislature, which is a respected norm in federalism. But you see, you can't blow hot and cold at the same time. You cannot be saying that courts should not interfere with the use or with the exercise of your powers and the implementation of your rules, and then turn around to say that because a matter is in court, you are not also going to comply with your own rules. The National Assembly or the Senate suspended this woman for 6 months. There should be no discussion as to when 6 months expire. There should not be any disguise. There is no confusion here. So when 6 months expire, naturally, under their rules, without the help of any court, without the interference of any court, this woman should be allowed to resume her seat.
Now, joining us in this conversation regarding Senator Natasha and the Nigerian Senate, we are being joined virtually by Barrister Folusho Olapo, who is Folusho Olapo, who is joining us virtually on the program this morning. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Yeah, good morning. This morning, how are you today, sir?
We're good. Yes, let's go. And now, the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will lapse on 23rd September, and she notified the Senate in that regard. But the response we have been having from the Senate, or the National Assembly as it were, is that she cannot resume yet until some litigations are resolved. I mean, isn't that double jeopardy? Somebody gets sentenced for convicted and sentenced for 6 months. Haven't finished the sentence, you say no, you still stay in prison. That's what this way the
it looks like.
It looks like to the street.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Your account is too low for this call.
Shit.
All right, while we try to reconnect with Barrister Folusho Olapo, comrade, let's...
Yes, so that's what it looks like to the people on the street. And they're asking questions that how could a person be convicted of a crime, applying the situation generally. And then they're wondering, how come somebody now will have served the sentence and you still say stay in prison until your appeal is determined? And then they wonder what kind of arrangement is that. These are the issues for a lawyer to attend to.
ahead of the curve and get updates on the latest trends in politics, government, policies, education, economy, social development, amongst others.
We're happy to announce today that both the federal government and the organized labor have agreed on an increase on the 62,000 naira minimum wage.
Join
Ayodeji Ajishope
and
Adedamola Lafenwa
on from the Dailies every weekday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Solutions 93.9 FM as they dive into the headlines with in-depth analysis and feedback from you on different stories from the national dailies. Start your day by gaining fresh perspectives, uncovering the story behind the story, and join the conversation. Because your voice matters. From the Dailies, the conversation never stops.
All right, we have Barrister Folusho Olakbo back, joining us virtually again. Barrister, are you there now? Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, now let's have your own interpretation.
the
of,
legal
legal interpretation of what is playing out at the Senate presently.
All right. Like I said earlier, the Senate appears to be overreaching itself.
Okay.
And it's being childish with their decision. A person had been alleged to have committed an offense, which is a senator of the Federal Republic, to have committed an offense against the Senate, where she is a member. And a punishment was imputed on punishment is no longer under any disability of resuming as a member of the Senate. But the Senate be saying that because there is a legal matter in court, in fact, is I don't know, it's an aberration. Because, like you rightly stated in your introduction, when a person served a term and completed that term, to that extent, is no longer under any liability.
Definitely.
To remain in prison.
But
now,
okay, go ahead.
All right, so ask your question, sir.
So, but people are the legal side is that the court did not say go back or take her back. That the court actually validated the position of the Senate in suspending her, and that it was advised outside the issues that were before the court that Justice Binta Yanko started addressing, and that she did not make orders.
The court need not make any order in respect of that, because she has served that term. You can imagine. I think you understand me. She committed an offense, and of course they went to court. In fact, the court did not validate what it said. In fact, the court actually said that whatever order the Senate is relying upon is subject to the Constitution, and Constitution did not say a senator, a serving senator should be suspended for that.
What's the next line of action for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan legally?
Of course, one thing we have to understand is this: Mrs. Uduaghan is a uniplural person, as this case is concerned. So they are shutting out a whole senatorial district.
Definitely.
And it's against the in fact, it's a terrorist act under the Constitution, because they are alleging war against that senatorial district. So
what next
the Constitution said every member, every part of this country should be represented at the Senate. Now, shutting that representative out of that place is shutting the whole senatorial district out. So, and that is why the court said they do not have that right. You are contradicting the Constitution. So what Mrs. Uduaghan should do now is to go back immediately to the court for an order of reinstatement immediately. And that should be done without any, in fact, it can be done ex parte.
But Barrister, you said that Natasha should go back to the court to seek an order of reinstatement immediately, right? But
Yes,
we are talking about a Senate that has once said that the court doesn't have the right to dictate the way they will discipline or carry out their own disciplinary actions within themselves. We've had them saying this. Do you see
But
such
that
orders
is it.
making any impact within the Senate?
And that is one way of infracting and breaching the fundamental rights as provided by the Constitution.
Well, it's been done by the Senate, but nothing has been done. It's been they've said it many times
because that
they-
is because we are operating a banana republic, where everybody can interpret the law to suit their situation. So if we are law-abiding citizens, and that is why a Canadian court could call the two biggest political parties of this country as a
Terrorist
terrorist
group.
organization. Yes, because they behave like terrorists. Like I said earlier, breaching a constitution by the representative of the people. Because in every democracy, the House is the sovereign, is the eye and mouth of the people. In fact, without the during military rule, we always have both the executive and the judiciary in place. It is only the legislature that is being suspended.
Okay.
So meaning that the legislature is actually the fulcrum, the baseline, the hallmark of any democracy. But it appears that this legislature that we have today, it's not representing the people. And for them to even contradict the same constitution they said they've sworn to, not say, they sworn to uphold, then to that extent, they are not honorable. And no one should address them as that. Not to talk of being an excellency. No, what is excellent about them? Because when you decided to, even on your own, have to now say the court cannot check. Of course, there is this issue about separation of power.
Yes, there is separation of powers.
Yes, but the court has heard severally that, of course, there is. But the court can look at the activities of the National Assembly, whether or not it conforms to the law.
Okay.
So you cannot just say because there is separation of power, then the court cannot look into your actions. No, it can't.
Well,
but it cannot. What the court cannot do is to hold them from making laws or doing their lawful activity. But in the situation,
go ahead and wrap it up.
Yes, in situation where they are performing any action, the court can actually look at whether such action conforms to the provisions of the Constitution and other laws of this country.
Thank you very much. We will keep track of that story and
Thank you,
stay connected to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Folusho Olapo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, we just spoke with Barrister Folusho Olapo to get his legal interpretation to what is playing out between the Nigerian Senate and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, which the senator said, no, you are not coming back anytime soon.
We will see how this pans out legally, as it were.
Okay. 30 minutes past 10, still on from the dailies on Solutions at 93.9 FM. But in a few minutes from now, we'll be changing the gears and we'll move into the health segment where we do health talk. And like we always do every Friday morning, we have Dr. Chukuma Okole already in the studio. But before then, let's go on this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Fueling your vitality the whole day through. Embrace each challenge with renewed might. With Supermalt, your performance takes flight.
With 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, one Supermalt multivitamin after breakfast every day keeps you going.
My mission is simple: to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on, come on, come on.
effective relief from malaria. Comal on malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
All right, you're welcome back from the Dailies and Solutions and 93.9 FM. Like I did say earlier on, we'll be switching gears and moving to the health corner. Where we have Dr. Chukwuma Okoli, the Chief Medical Director of Metropolitan Family Hospital at Kobo Ibadan, is right here in the studio to answer questions as regards our topic for the day. Good morning, Dr. Chukwuma Okoli.
Good morning, sirs.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, now today we're looking at a particular issue. Now, tomorrow, which is September 13th, is going to be the World Sepsis Day, and so we'd like to talk about sepsis. It's a health issue. What is sepsis all about?
Thank you very much. Sepsis is a life-threatening condition where the body responds in an abnormal manner to the presence of infection, causing damage to the body's own tissues and organs. Simply put, bacteria, fungus, or virus comes into the body through either by air or by food or through the skin. Now gets into the bloodstream. The body mounts an immune response. That is, the body tries to fight the infection.
Okay.
That's a normal response anytime.
Anytime, yeah.
Now, sepsis happens when the system is not able to counter. It's just like when the army tries to rally round and then take...
When the defense system is
defense
down.
System. No, the defense system is not down,
Okay.
but not able to overcome
Oh.
The numbers?
the numbers.
How come those numbers come at?
Thank you.
Is it just continuous thing?
Thank you. It's either a continuous exposure. If you have 10 insurgents becoming 20, becoming 50, becoming 100, you see, in doubles, 1,000.
Which environment breeds such numbers?
Thank you very much. The environment that is not healthy enough to handle it. An environment with poor immune system, poor food and diet. Okay, air pollution and all these things are inhaled into the system. An environment that is exposed to constant bodily harm, breaches, wounds, exposures, punctures, insect bites. These are the kind of environments that endangers the body system and exposes this body system to this mammoth negative, what do I call them now? Bacteria, fungi, viruses. They now plague the system to the point that while trying to hammer them, you unintentionally damage your own system. You target a group of people, you send a firearm, but it ends up hitting the body system.
Oh, that is strange.
Yes. At that point, you are killing yourself while trying to hit the virus, while trying to hit the bacteria, because you don't have what it takes to take them out perfectly.
Okay, I know the little biology I did in secondary school then. We were taught the functions of the white blood cells, which are meant to be the army, the soldiers of the body.
Exactly.
And I believe we're made to understand that they are being produced regularly.
Yes.
That if there is any entrance of an infection, they have a way of deploying the troops.
Perfect.
To counter that.
That's true.
I want you to break it down. What are those things that will lower the production of those white blood cells, which I call the troops, to counter any emerging?
Thank you very much. Now, one of the reasons why we eat on a daily basis is that when we take in proteins are used to build antibodies.
Okay.
These are one of the first responders. They are your emergency responders. First stage. Once those bacteria come in, those viruses, those fungi come in, the antibodies, they are called antibodies. They are against external bodies. Against external bodies. They are displayed. They form the banner. Where are you coming from? Where do you think you're going? This is not your ground. And they try to attack. So if you don't have enough production of antibodies by virtue of poor feeding, by virtue of poor standard of health living. For instance, imagine somebody living in a mosquito-infested house. Every day you are beaten. So your body spends its energy producing things to fight mosquitoes. As if that is not enough, you now fall and probably have an open wound. Then you have bacteria. Aside from fighting the mosquitoes, you have your bacteria infesting the wound. Now, to cap it up, you fail to treat the wound. You fail to put spirit and clean the place up and then cover it to protect it from getting bad. Now the wound becomes septic, becomes festered with bacteria. One, you're already fighting being beaten by mosquitoes almost on a daily basis. They are feasting on you, feasting on the blood. Now the infection comes in no time, that system goes down. Before I left the office, I saw a 1.5-year-old child. When I saw after the examination, the doctor presented the case to me. The malaria parasite was 2+. That's already severe malaria.
Okay.
Now, the infection was overwhelming. Now, the blood level was so low, the child needed blood immediately. At that point, what do I tell myself? That was sepsis staring at my face.
So, I mean, you talk about the vulnerabilities.
Yes.
So, what's the demographics?
What's the
demographics of it?
Thank you very much. Now, we are living in an area where sepsis is endemic.
How do you mean?
Yes.
Endemic?
Endemic, yes. It means that everyone under that low socio-economic status is at risk of coming down with it. Now, we talk about what do we give children. We encourage parents at least 1 egg a day. Yes, 1 egg at least a day. We all know the cost of egg now. We talked about eating foods that is rich in fish, meat, egg, and other liver and co, like we call it edo, and all that. These things are necessary for the body. Like Yoruba will call it ashara loreni. It is meant to nourish and protect the body and get this body able to fight. Are we faced with these things? Yes. Now, one of the reasons why we are still standing here is the fact that we are blessed by God with good immunity by virtue of the weather. We face a lot of things, so the body mounts. Okay. Of course, hoping that we eat well to prepare ourselves to fight it. Does it mean that people didn't die from COVID? Of course, people did die. Is it their fault? Of course not. Their immune system couldn't cope. Many of us came in contact with these things, and we are still here by the virtue of the immune system we have. What nourishes, what furnishes this immune system? Number one is food.
The rich also died during COVID.
Yes, sir. Of course, and then by virtue of my clinical practice, most of them, in fact, I can tell, sir, that most of them, almost 100% of them who died, had a major health challenge.
Underlining.
Okay. So the moment that virus came, it took the immune system out. It was just a matter of how many hours or days before they went.
Okay, now I was trying to understand your explanation as regards how the immune system works in the body.
Yes.
Now, we say that there are antibodies that are meant to protect, to mount guards anytime there is an infection.
Exactly.
But with the explanation you gave as regards sepsis now, it's to me, to my understanding, I might be wrong, correct me, that this tissues or this antibodies that are meant to fight the infection coming into the body will now start attacking the body tissues.
No, that's autoimmune. It's not that.
Okay, that is not
that's a different one. That's what is called autoimmune. We can probably talk about that later. What happens is that the body mounts abnormal immune responses that are dangerous. Now, you see, some of these things actually work with releasing bullets, chemicals, releasing cytokines, chemokines, and all that
the infection.
To fight.
Okay.
But they end up targeting the body system because we don't have enough barricade, It's a Cadman victory where you fight and then you lose as much men as the person you are trying to kill.
Firing.
Okay, like the bullets rebounding.
Yes. Or like you are shooting a lot of bullets and most of them are stray bullets hitting innocent people. Now the background is not having enough power to produce. If you have 20 insurgent bacteria and you have 200 million cells to fight them, you won't even feel anything. You won't even feel anything. But imagine you have the other way around, 200 million bacteria and you have 20 body cells to fight. And you tell me you want to mount what? That was exactly what I saw before I came. And I can't help but think about that little boy while I was sitting here, and I was just imagining, God, just help this child to fight through. Now, this is where we come in. You now have to give support. You give medications. You push in a lot of things. You maintain the vascular system, the vascular system, because away from sepsis, what is standing just next door neighbor is that the cardiovascular system collapses. Wow. They are the ones that you try to secure line. You can't get a vein everywhere. The system is down. And then time is ticking. It's just a matter of how many minutes can this child wait for you to secure line.
Now, I was going to ask you, what are the implications of sepsis when it sets in now?
Thank you very much. Before the implication, I know I was prepared for him to ask me about the stages.
The stages, okay. Okay.
So now, the stage is this. The bacteria is coming.
Okay.
Then the body mounts the initial immune response. But because we are not prepared by virtue of poor immunity,
okay,
now the immune access or the immune response is not well coordinated. You meet with 200 million cells or visitors, bacteria coming in, and you don't have enough to counter them. You are not prepared. You're not coordinated. So stage 1 is the entrance. Stage 2 is the poor immune response.
Okay.
You can't. Then stage 3, you still try to mount it, and then you end up destroying your own body system. You release chemicals. Those things will just release their own counter chemicals, and plus your own will destroy the body system. And then the cardiovascular system goes down. That is when you have the fever, you have various organs manifesting various symptoms, cough, body weakness and pain. Some will go to the toilet and then they will what we call dark brown colored urine. And then you call that
everything shutting down.
Sir, God bless you.
From the tissue.
God bless you. In fact, you are heading to the last part, which is called multiple organ dysfunction. Multiple organs are shutting down. And what's next after that? Down below.
Wow.
Sometimes you still go ahead and give the best, but because whatever you are giving is meant to support a standing, functioning immune system, not a dead immune system.
You can't restart.
So you're supposed to assist a fighting system, not a dead one. So if you're pushing in your medications and the immune system is not working alongside, you're losing the battle.
So it depends a lot on the individual.
Yes. And it's individualistic. And we don't know who will mount as much as to survive and who wouldn't.
Okay, now that brings me to the next question, saying that what category of people are at high risk?
Thank you.
Of,
the old.
Oh, when you say old,
65 and above, elderly, yes, and then the young, 0 to 5. That's 1. 2. The people who have chronic ailments, cancers, and all that, diabetes, hypertension, and all that autoimmune diseases, they are also at risk. 3, people with low social, economic, and cultural background or standing, who can afford to eat basic meals. They also operate at the borderline.
What's the distribution of that? You know, all those levels you have mentioned.
Now, in this country, as a matter of fact, we have about 15% who are safe. The 85% are not.
Those numbers are really, really high.
And aside from this, mortality is between 10 and 90% of people who are involved.
That's scary.
So if you have 100 people suffer sepsis, if you're not careful, you may lose between 10 to 90% of them. So now, what determines the outcome is, number one, the time at which your intervention occurs, because your immune system doesn't go down like this. It's a gradual process.
Okay.
So your response also should be timely. And of course, we can only respond by the virtue of when they present to us. We won't go to the suburbs and get them. We will wait
And that's where they are.
Yes, sir.
In large numbers.
Yes, in large numbers. We will only wait until they get to us in the hospital. But of course, at that time when they get into the hospital, what do? This is not a time to wait for financial deposit. This is not a time to wait for money. This is a time to save life.
Okay, in order not to wait till that particular time,
Yes.
what are those symptoms that one could see that will make me look like,
Thank you.
I need to see the doctor now?
Thank you. They are still the same symptoms we see every day.
Wow.
Temperature, cough, difficulty with breathing, painful urination, dark brown color urine that looks like all these soft drinks that are dark brownish in color. Yes, these are the things you just need to see. You notice somebody is coughing and is not breathing well, and then some of them, when you pull their clothes, you notice that in between their ribs is sucking in as they are breathing. That is called indrawing chest wall, intercostal resections. And when all these things are noticed, the next thing you do is get to the hospital, because that has become a medical emergency that needs to be attended to. That life must be saved at all costs.
Do the these clinics in the local governments, primary healthcare centers, are they capable of providing support?
They can't handle such. Even hospitals that are standardized can, but that doesn't mean they have 100% success.
It also depends on the stage of the patient coming in, the
And
stage at which the patient
stage by virtue of the time of presentation.
So now that we know this, are there things that as individuals we can maybe eat to boost our immune system so that will make them battle ready, in quotes?
Thank you.
Always.
I always believe in the proteins.
The proteins.
Yes. The proteins. So if you're there, you're listening, you know what the proteins are. The beans, the fish, the egg, the liver, and so on and so forth. Meat. These are proteins. When I hear people, before I used to believe, don't eat meat, don't. We are doing ourselves a lot of harm.
Including eggs.
Yeah.
But they used to say that when you get to a particular age, you should reduce your intake of meat.
This is what happens.
How true is that?
Yes, sir. When you get into the hospital and you get to meet with the doctor, he will tell you, stay away from fried egg. He won't tell you stay away from egg.
I was reading not too long ago that I probably can take 2 boiled eggs in a day.
Even more if you have to. I've had to take 3 boiled eggs and I drank a cup of water, and that sustained me till 5 p.m.
I changed my mind about the whole thing.
Exactly. Just boiled eggs and a glass of water, and I was sustained till 5 p.m. So what are we saying?
It gives out so much.
Yes, it does.
Okay, apart from the proteins you talked about, what about fruits? Too?
Beautiful. Now, fruits rich in vitamin C's. Do you know that vitamin C is a chairman when it comes to wound healing? So we talked about broken wounds, and there is no vitamin C to help the wound to heal.
So all the citruses.
It's the citruses and the grapes and all that are involved. So when you take these things regularly, you are fortifying your body with what will make your wound heal. And that's why you see people, they have cut by day 2, day 3. The wound is healed. And they are the ones that will not even bother to go to the hospital because they are eating well. Like they say, you are what you eat. So if you're out there and then you are spending time drinking away your life and you think that you are staying healthy, guess what?
Thank you so much.
Okay, before you wrap up, tomorrow is a World Sepsis Day.
Yes.
Your advice to the listeners out there in 2 minutes.
Thank you very
Things
much.
They need to do, the habits they should cultivate.
Thank you very much. Number 1, stay away from mosquitoes. So find a way. Broken nets, fix them. Number 2, drink good water, potable water. Okay. Number 3, eat, please. It's not about the large quantity of rice and then large amala and all those things. It's about the protein. So as you're eating those, take ample quantity of proteins and take fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fruits, nuts. They help. These things will build your immune system and will keep you away from coming to us all the time.
And when you eventually get symptoms,
if you get symptoms, please visit the hospital, because sepsis doesn't speak. It just breaks down the wall right from the foundation.
Okay.
I have this to say. They say, eat your food as medicine, so that one will not end up eating medicine
as food. God bless you, sir.
I'll write down after the program. I'll read it every day, every morning.
True, and that's what I believe in, and it works for me.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Chukwuma Okoli, the Chief Medical Director of Metropolitan Family Hospital, Akobo, Ibadan. It's always a very informative and exciting session.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
It's an honor.
Wish you a very wonderful
Thank you for
weekend.
the value addition.
Thank you.
All right, Comrade Adeji, what are your plans for the weekend?
Well, I want to spend the weekend like you love to do.
Like I love.
I want to do it your way.
You're towing my path.
I want to do your part this weekend.
Okay. Like I was chatting. Was it last Saturday with Dr. Chukwuma Okoli? I was at home on Saturday and we were talking. I was like, well, I'm doing what you advised me to do. I'm resting at home. No stress.
That's a beautiful one.
Okay, that's the wrap. Comrade, thank you very much for being a part.
My pleasure riding with you and on this platform.
All right.
Nothing taken for granted.
Thank you very much. And that's the wrap for today and for the week. We'll be back again Monday morning, God willing, for a fresh edition of From the Dailies on your Superdial Solutions at 93.9 FM. My name is Ade Damola Lafewa. Do have a very splendid weekend. Good morning once again.